سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح.
This video we are going to dive deep into how can you make your webinar profitable, scalable, how can you start making money, and how can you set the right context of a specific topic that you're taking or you're communicating or you're delivering, and how can you make it's more effective, and towards the end how can you have more conversions, because you are doing it for a reason, and towards the end of the reason you're going to sell them something. Now when you want to sell them something, if you don't set the context right, probably people are not going to even sit in the session till the end of it. So the three ways of how can you set the context right, and in three ways how can you get the best of whoever is attending your session and get them the results, and towards the end convert them and get them into your community. Cool, you're not going to sell courses is just one part of it, but how are you going to sell the community? That's a different topic altogether. But then we are just going to talk about the three ways how can you maximize the conversions towards the end of the session of a webinar. Now in this particular thing, this particular 1 to 3 points, you can apply it for a sales webinar, got it, for an upsell sales video, or for an inner circle community. Like if you have, when you have a community, not like when you have a community, even you can do this for them as well. Both, it can be for paid sales, whatever that is. So you can apply these three ways into any of the sessions that you're doing and get the results out of it, both for them as well as your end conversions, them benefits, impact. The first point that I'm going to talk about is what is the outcome of the session, of the webinar, of the masterclass, of the workshop. In the first 3 minutes of the session, you convey that message to them. Boom. This is what I've planned for this particular session. This is what you're going to learn in this next 90 minutes. This is what you can expect from me. When you talk about those 2 to 3 points, they know exactly what the session is all about, without wasting time. You don't have to waste any time. Look, within 3 minutes, you tell them 1, 2, 3. You're going to learn these things. Now, what will happen is when they see what you're trying to say, what you're going to teach them, if they are interested to see, if those are the 3 things that you have promised in your landing pages, if you have promised them in your funnel, if you have promised them in your advertisements, they will sit and consume that lessons from you. Got it? If they find, okay, this is not what I was expecting, they leave. And if they leave, that's a good sign for you and a bad sign for you. Good sign as in, if they are in a wrong class altogether. For example, if you are teaching maths and if they are expecting if you probably are teaching the advanced level of maths, and if they're very beginner of it, when you say, okay, we are going to talk about algebra, this, and just like complete bouncer on them, they leave. Now when they leave, you know that okay, this class is not for them. Probably even if they were a SAT, they're not going to get converted towards the end of the day. Eliminated. Bad for you in a way. That's good for you. One part is good for you. The bad way for you in a way, it could be the messaging probably wouldn't have been that clear as to which it would have wanted to be. Getting what I'm saying? It probably you were not communicating them in a right way, that they got confused because they watched something that you did and they came to you. They came to you when you were running ads. So when you were running ads, probably there has to be something tweaking with them, wrong targeting. Probably the words that you've used got that category into the thing. So you can work on that part of it. That's like tweaking your ad copy, your funnel pages, your secrets, your terminology, the headlines that you use. And second part, if they came there with expecting something else, they'll be out. So the first point is when you tell them, this is what you can expect from me next 90 minutes, point 1, 2, 3. That's the only thing that we're going to talk about in these 3 things. You eliminate all sorts of things and you can just laser focus on 1, 2, and 3. Done deal. Point number 2 is when you said that 3 things, like these are the three things that we're going to learn about. Then you move on to the second part of it. In this particular video, we're just talking about the context setting, right? The second point is the orientation part of it. What is this class not about? What is this class about? Now, this is entirely different than this first point. It could be like a little bit similar to that, but it's different. Like when you openly say them, okay, this is not about point number 1, point number 2, point number 3. This, we are not going to talk about, for example, how do you get PhD degree in mathematics, or probably the PG level of mathematics, or probably the UG level of mathematics. No, this is just going to be an advanced class where we're just going to target. We're just going to. It is just going to. This is just for the students who are appearing for CBSE 12th grade. That's all. No state board, no this board, no that board, nothing. This is not about all those things. And what we are doing here is this. We are going to cover this subject, this subject, this subject. This subject, this part, this subject, this topic, this subject, this topic. Eliminating, setting the right content. First one was what? What is the outcome of it? The results probably. The second one, this is the first one, the second one is what is this not about? Eliminating. What is this exactly about? Diving deep into that. The third point is setting rules of engagement, R.O.E. That this is one of my favorite things that I do all the time, because now when you are setting the context, this is what this is not about, this is what this is about. The second thing you do immediately is set the rules of it. Now, once you know exactly what this is about, okay, these are the rules. For example, if you come visit my home, or probably if you come visit an event that we as a community are doing, you are going to have that 3-day event. Cool. In these 3-day events, it's like morning we have this event, evening this session, morning this session, this evening this session, morning this session, this 3 days schedule is set. You know exactly what the agenda is. Now I say, okay, this is rule number 1. You're going to stay with us. This is rule number 2. You're going to attend all 6 topics that we've been discussing across 3 days. You are going to have a networking place where you can engage and interact with the people. Fourth one, don't get late to the sessions. Be 10 minutes before the session so that you get to pick the front seats, or probably you get to interact with folks within the community within that particular event, and you are ready. Fifth one, take notes. I don't like people when they are not taking notes, because an idea can change your life. Like, take notes, it's really, really important. So, and the sixth one that I use all the time is like finishing what you started. This one point I have learned from one of my mentors. Like, when you made an intention to stay, to even when you just made an intention to be a part of a particular session, now stick to that intention. Make a commitment to that intention, and when you start something, finish what you did. Now, because you already made an intention, start doing it. Now you have committed to that. Now the next commitment you have to be like, okay, I'm going to finish it. So when you set a context and rules of engagement, like what are the rules that you have to follow? I cannot hand hold you, like literally I cannot hand hold you. It's like you have to do this, if not just like I'm going to beat you with the scale. I'm not going to do that. But what I can do is, when I set rules for you, which you, when you receive the rules, it is just facilitating our relationship, our conversation. So when I say something you to do, and when I impose like there's a rule for you, so that this is just for you to take you from point A to point B, to where you are, to where you want to be. That is the only reason that I do this session, for example, and this is the only reason that you are even watching this session. You're being a part of a webinar or a community call, all this, all that. How can I take you from point A to point B? Okay, this is the roadmap of it. These are the rules you have to follow. Only when you follow, and when you're seriously following up, kind of abiding by the rules in a way, you go from point A to point B very easily. That's the whole goal of setting the right context and rules of engagement. Second, what all you want them to follow, like just write things down. Now, when you have these 3 points, the first point, what's the outcome? Orientation, OOR. outcome orientation. What is this about? What is it not about? And when you hook them up with the rules, set these three things right within 7 to 8 minutes of a session, and sit back and see the magic that you are going to create in next 90 minutes, in next 60 minutes, in next 45 minutes, in next 2 hours, in next 3 days, whatever that is, that event that you're doing. It's going to be fun. But when you set these things right, you are going to see the magic transformations within sessions you do. That being said, thank you so much for watching this particular video. I am pretty excited of the things that is coming in, and one of the intentions that I hold for this particular channel, wherever you're watching, be it listening or be it watching it, one of the things that's like this, being an introvert, the whole journey of an introvert is like, I have an idea, I'm too overwhelmed to execute it. Cool. So me doing all these videos and podcasts and stuff like that is like, how can I, now that you have an idea, how can I help execute this? How can I take you from point A to point B? So that's the whole intention of that's the only reason that I'm doing this, so that you will be benefited towards the end of the day. And that being said, see you in another video.